At which point does a shelter become a building, become architecture?
Life has evolved adapting to the surroundings. We had to find a cave. We had to climb into a tree in order to sort of escape the wild animals. At some point, we invented tools, technology, and we invented architecture. We didn't have to just pick any cave. We could actually design our own cave, and eventually those caves became more and more advanced. And this capacity to create the environment that we would like to live in has grown so much that some people talk about the current era as the Anthropocene. We control such a big part of the resources on our planet that we are a greater force of change than any other geology, more than volcanoes, more than tectonic plate movement. So the Anthropocene means that we're now living in a world created by humans. In a way, the architect's role is to observe and listen when the world is changing. The world we live in has been designed to fit with a certain way of life. But you know, when life is suddenly changing, stuff is happening, the contours need to change. So in that sense, every time there is change, the fabric of reality won't really fit. And if we as architects can listen and observe these moments where change is happening, we can actually become the ones who accommodate that change. And if you take the Danish word for design, it's called formgivning, which literally means form giving. To give form to something that has not yet been given form. So change can come from anywhere. Like it can basically be migration, when people move from one place to another. Maybe there are more babies born, or maybe the people get older. Maybe it can be economic change, or maybe it's the opposite. Climate change, global warming, rising sea levels. Wherever change is coming from, it results in new possibilities and new problems. And those problems and possibilities can actually be the source that allows us to give form to the future. Architecture literally is the framework for the life we want to live. The framework that you create for people's lives can be a way to expand their life, to expand their possibilities. When we design a building or a neighborhood or an urban space, what we try to do is to create as many encounters, as much invitation, as much connectivity as possible. But it's paradoxical how much of architecture and urbanism is about fencing off, telling people not to walk on the grass in the park. I think in a way what we try to do in our projects is to create as much invitation as possible. We're just finishing this building in Copenhagen, which is essentially creating a power plant with a ski slope. Also the facade, it's 300 feet tall. It's becoming the tallest climbing wall in the world. You're going to have trees, hiking paths. We have also actually invented a way to blow smoke rings because only steam is coming out of the chimney. So we thought it could be nice to make it like a symbol of play instead of a symbol of pollution. The smoke rings might not happen, they might still happen, but the ski slope and the climbing wall happen. If you start by self-censoring and only dreaming about, the smallest possible dream, then that might not even happen. I do think that if you actually dream incredibly big, you can transmit your passion and your conviction to others. You have the power of the many, and I think also in a very near future, we want to inhabit Mars, our most immediate neighbor. It's only natural that you eventually move out of the frame as you're telling the story. But eventually, it's all a question about, in a way, animating space. Yeah, it is essentially giving form to the future we want to inhabit. And I think at the end of the day, it's back to this notion of connectivity. It's about actually bringing people together physically. I think the more you can actually formulate the vision, the more you actually have incredible power at your hands. Not by forcing anyone, but by actually inspiring them.